Welcome to my channel. I'm Beth, and in this yoga video, we are going to be doing some strength and stretch work for the upper body. We'd be all on the floor for this practice, and you won't need any props or other equipment other than your yoga mat. So let's get started with some basic warm-ups. We're going to warm up the shoulders with some shoulder rolls. Let your shoulders roll forward as you would do if you were hunched over. And then start to raise your shoulder up toward your ears and then allow them to move toward your back. You might draw your arms back at the same time, a few times like this. We're only rolling backward because we spend so much of our time hunched forward that we're trying to reverse that a bit with this warm up. I can hear some creaks and cracks already. Let's do one more. Okay, a little bit for the wrist. Let's reach both arms straight out ahead. If you want, you can do a few more shoulder rolls in this position. And then cross one wrist over the other. It doesn't matter which, just make a note of which one you have crossed. Turn your palms toward each other, thumbs down, and draw your hands in toward your body. And again, this time you might hear some wrist cracks. You can move them around a little bit here. Warming up the wrists, we're going to be on our hands and knees and doing some planks a little bit in this routine. And then let's switch. So other wrist on top, palms come together. Draw your hands in toward your body. Move around a little bit. Get some warm up. All right. We'll come right into hands and knees with the fingertips facing us. And you can place your hands a little bit closer to your knees if you'd like. And from here, we're going to start rocking our hips back, trying to keep the palms down so we get some stretch along the front of our wrists. You can hold a few moments or you can rock back and forth. Some of the moves in yoga make wrists hurt, so we'll be doing some things to stretch the wrists and also looking at ways that we can minimize any pain or burden on the wrists. And then one more thing is you can turn your palms up this way. Be a little bit more gentle. Don't place quite as much weight on your hands as you do this. And again, maybe a little bit of rock as you stretch the wrists in this direction. Anytime you need to take pressure off and shake out the wrists, you do that. Let's come down to all fours now, and we'll do another shoulder warm up. This one is usually done standing. It's called the TYI. We're going to do a one-arm version of it on all fours. So let one hand be firm under your body. Your hand is going to start to take a little weight. This is starting with our arm strengthening. And then we'll reach the other arm out to the side. This is our T position, palms down. Reach it out on a diagonal, thumb up, that's our Y, and then reach it straight out in front of you, that's the I. 2 more times like this, all the while letting some weight come into your opposite hand. So your hand on the bottom is supporting your body. We're going to be doing that a lot in this practice. And then last one, out to the side, out on a diagonal, and out in front. And when you get out in front the last time, just for a moment, take the opposite foot behind you, toes tucked down, a little bit of balance, but also a little bit more weight into that bottom hand, a little more strengthening. Come back in. Remember, anytime you need a break, you take that. And then we'll do the second side. All right, so second side, TYI. You might want to move your bottom hand a little bit more towards center. Reach out, palm down into the T shape. On the diagonal, thumb up into the Y, and then in front of you into the I. Twice more. T, Y, and I. Last one. T, Y, and I. You can certainly hold these longer. Let's bring the opposite leg out, toe down for a moment. A little bit of core strength also. And then you can come back in, set up off your wrists. Anytime you need a break, you can stretch your wrists out as you like. Okay, we're going to go through this plank series. Now, as we do these, if one of these doesn't feel good, go back to the prior one that did feel good. We'll start again on hands and knees. So from hands and knees, obviously you're already putting a little bit of weight on your hands. You could stay here the whole time. When we walk out to a knee down plank, first we walk our hands ahead of our shoulders, and you'll notice there's not that much weight on the hands there. But then we allow our shoulders to shift over our wrists and find our knees down plank. So we're strengthening our arms by pushing our hands into the mat, lifting up away from that, hugging the muscles into the bone. And then if you find that you want a little bit more sensation or want to spice it up, you can tuck one toe, lift one leg, and the other. And of course, at any point, you can come up to the top of the push-up, a high plank, if you're feeling the energy for that today. I'm just going to take one breath here, and then sit down. I take the breaks that I come off my wrist, but also to check in with myself, see how things are feeling. So this next option is going to be an option if your wrists are bothering you. So I'm going to come down to all fours again. This time I'm going to come down to fists with my thumbs facing forward. So sometimes for people who, no matter what they do, they find they're still having wrist issues, being on fists can help be a little bit more gentle on the wrists. And then we can do the same thing. We can walk out and find a knee down plank. And from here, you can lift one or both knees, depending on the level of sensation that you want to play with today. All right, and then come down, come in for a moment, notice how that's feeling for you. The next version, you can do this on the hands or on the fists. We'll keep the hands closer to us, so we'll keep the hands in the all fours or tabletop position. This time we're going to tuck the toes, and this is called a bear plank. So with the toes tucked, we're going to lift the knees. So you can lift them higher. Hovering is harder for the core. You find the amount of weight on your hands that feels just right, that you can sustain that. Again, thinking about drawing the muscles in toward the bone to help with the muscle activation. And then whenever you're ready, sit down, take a little break, and take some of those shoulder circles. You can also stop to do that wrist stretch again anytime you need it. I'm going to move on to an elbow plank. So that's one version we haven't done yet. Another version that can be good if you're having wrist issues, because we'll be on our forearms. So starting where we did before, we'll walk the hands out, but this time come right down to the forearms. And I'll walk my knees back a little bit so I can still maintain that plank shape. And hands can be pressed together, they can be clasped, whatever is most comfortable for you. Now, even though the intent of this workout isn't necessarily for the core, you're getting a lot of core strength here too. So make sure that you're activating the muscles around your abdominals to help with that. If you'd like, you can come up onto or lift the knees for your high elbow plank. And then one last option here is you can walk from the forearms up to plank and back down again. I'm just going to do 2 of those, starting with the other side. A little bit more arm strength there. Come down, and then let yourself come all the way down. Take a moment. Hug the floor. Exhale and release the effort so far. So from here on the floor, we'll do some back bending work with the intent of strengthening the arms. So the first pose that I like to do for my back bend, because it feels great in my upper back and also helps build strength in my arms, is called a Gecko Cobra. I'm going to take my hands out wide. You'll see they're coming off my mat. Elbows are up, so not drawn back. Elbows are up. And I'm on my fingertips. This is giving us some bonus hand strength as well. So you'll notice I'm already from this position drawing the muscles of the upper back together. Press the tops of the feet on the floor like you would do for any version of Cobra. And then press into your fingertips. Use your upper back muscles to lift up. Gaze stays down toward the mat. Maybe you find you can lift higher. Go to your degree. And then come back down. Now, if that's not for you, you can also work on your arm strength with just a regular Cobra. If you like this version, this Gecko Cobra, let's do one more. Fingertips push down, elbows are up, triceps are engaged. That's the backs of our upper arms. Lift up strong. Breathe and hold wherever you are today. And then release, come back down. Take a breather, maybe turn your head the other way. One more back bending pose for arm strength. This is seal pose. It's usually done in yin yoga. I'm going to reach our hands out on a little bit of a diagonal. And as I engage my back to lift up, I'm actually going to slide my hands a little closer to me, pressing my hands down to lift up the chest away from the floor, engage the upper back. Again, press the tops of your feet to the floor. You can widen your legs if that helps your back feel more comfortable. Notice how your arms have to engage to hold you here. In yin, we hold this pose sometimes for several minutes at a time, or we're going to come back down to our forearms and take a breath. And then if you like one more repetition, or you can go back to the Gecko Cobra, press into your straight arms. Let that press of your hands into the floor lift your front body. So we're getting some activation of the back body, some stretch of the front body, some strength for the arms. A lot going on in this one pose. Breathe into your ribs. And then exhale. Once again, lower yourself down to the floor. Release. Rest for a moment. All right, let's finish with a few kind of strength and stretches combined. So come back up to all fours. We're going to do a downward facing dog, which does put some weight on the hands, but we're going to try to take more weight back to the feet so we get more of a stretch for the upper body. So starting with the hands under the shoulders, for down dog, we want to move the hands a little bit forward. And unlike when we did plank and sent our shoulders over our wrists, this time we're going to keep our shoulders behind the wrist. In fact, we're even going to send our hips back further so that we get this long stretch in the upper body. You can let your head go ahead and already start moving in between your arms. Tuck your toes, staying long in your upper body. Take a little crouch first, almost like our little bear plank, and then continuing to send your weight back toward your feet. So away from your hands, you're pushing away with your hands. Start to straighten your leg any amount. Finding your dog pose. Now, if you need to reduce how much weight is on your hands, you can step your feet in a little bit, send your weight back to your feet even more. So feel like you're pulling your hips back to send your weight back toward your heels. Even if your heels are off the floor like mine, that's totally fine. The more you send your weight back, you can bend your legs to do this. The more you send the weight back toward your heels, toward your feet, the less pressure on your arms. Last breath here. All right, then send the knees down. You can come up off your wrist, or maybe stretch them out like we did earlier. And then last movement, and this is what I think is a nice, delicious stretch for the shoulders and upper body. This time we're going to come down to our elbows. So coming on all fours, you'll come to your elbows. Hands are together. They can press together or clasp. This is sometimes called praying mantis pose. So my hips are up And I'm going to start walking forward with my elbows, just crawling them forward along the mat. When I get them a little bit ahead of me, I'm going to send my hips back, let my head, my chest descend toward the mat, let my fingertips raise up to the sky, or another option is to take your hands to the back of the neck. If you keep your fingertips up, you can see why this is sometimes called praying mantis pose. It's also a version of a heart opening pose. And think about letting your chest sink and descend toward the mat as your hips are up. Finding a stretch for the upper back. Sending breath and release into all of those areas of the upper body that we worked. And then take your hands down, walk yourself out of this. I hope you enjoyed this short video today, a little bit of strength, a little bit of stretch. If you like this, it's so helpful if you let me know what you want more of. Try out my other videos as well. And it's great if you subscribe, you'll get notifications of every new video I make, and it helps me as well. Enjoy the rest of your day.